Well, you sang beautifully. You sang beautifully. That gets you ready for when you go to Ireland. Because when you go to a session, when you cross the threshold, you are agreeing to participate. If you just sit around like a tourist, they'll do bad things to you. So, this is going to be a snap for you because there's not a chorus to it. There's only one line that you have to remember, and it's the line that finishes each verse, and it's simply this: tonight's the night. Oh, they don't know. Oh, that's it. Okay, thank you. Now, don't get snippy with me. This is Jesus Christ. I'm trying my best up here. Tonight's the night for... Actually, I have to repeat stuff because some band members don't remember the things, you see, including moi. So here we go. Before we start, though, I didn't give you the chance. Do you have any questions?
What's tonight for?
It's the night for drinking. Okay, I can see why you two are a match. Okay, here we go. Up and down, just along with all the others. Half of them they got the cousins in the town, and the other half are brothers. But tonight, they're all ashore, and you hand out the drink and drink some more. That's what the old town's for. Tonight's the night for drinking, yeah. From Portsmouth down to Dover, there they are all summing up the ale until the storm is over. But tonight, they're all ashore, and you hand out the drink and you drink some more. That's what the old town's for. Tonight's the night for drinking. There you go. 84.2% we got there. And it's anybody's guess, and a few of them are out there hauling. But most of them may take a little rest when they hear Lord Nelson calling. But tonight, they're all ashore, and you're handing out the drink and you drink some more. That's what the old town's for. Tonight's the night for drinking. And there's nothing but the sound of 1,000 seagulls screaming. It's thirsty work, that bobbing up and down, so it's homeward bound for steaming. But tonight, they're all ashore, and you're handing up the drink and drink some more. That's what the old town's for. Tonight's the night for drinking. Horn fight. And you're bobbing up in town just along with all the others. Well, half of them you got the cousins in the town, and the other half are brothers. But tonight, they're all ashore, and you're handing up the drink and you drink some more. Who would have said Lord Nelson's dead?
Tonight's the night for drinking.
Hey. Thank you very much. Well, we have our first request. We have our first request of the evening, but we're going to keep playing anyway. This is for This is a wonderful song by an English writer, a fellow called Richard Thompson.
What's the next one?
Oh, that's right. I apologize, we're doing 2 English songs in a row. That's... Well, you wouldn't do that in Belfast, I'll tell you that. You get kneecapped. Anyway, so Richard Thompson went down to London to make his fame and fortune, which he eventually did. Is extremely famous in the folk world. And but the first crack at it was kind of bad. He ended up having a very, very bad job. It was in a big industrial laundry. It was called this stuff is true. Some of the stuff I say up here is not true. This is gospel truth. You can Google it, just not now. Okay. And so anyway, he goes down to London, ends up working in a big industrial laundry, and it's a horrible place. It's just a horrible place. It's on a street called Cauldron Street. And so the whole thing's like Dante's Inferno before you even get started. The good thing was that next to him was a beautiful young woman, and she was working the dryers. They fell in love with each other, and she was gorgeous, but she was a gypsy, so she couldn't stay too long in one place, and she couldn't listen to the band when they were playing, and she sat on the right-hand side of the bar. Anyway, so she says to Richard, she says, "Can you get me out of here?" She says, "This factory's killing me." So they left. They went down around the southeast of England, County Kent. They went to the orchards, picking fruit, tinkering, which means mending pots and pans. And they did busking, when you put your guitar case down on the street and you play for money. It was going great until one day he proposed. She was happy. Then he said he wanted about 9 kids, 9 or 11. We're not sure if he wanted a baseball team or a soccer team, but anyway, she says, to hell with that, she left him. He never saw her again, and he wrote this song for her. She was a little slip of a girl, a little tiny thing. His nickname for her was Beeswing, and wherever you see Richard Thompson, anywhere in the world, he always does this song. The last verse mentions something called White Horse, which is nothing equestrian. It's a very cheap whiskey. And if you don't know that, the line doesn't make sense. So here's Beeswing.
1, 2, 3.
I was 19 when I came to town. They called it the summer of love. They were burning buildings, burning flags, the hawks against the doves. I took a job in the steaming, down on Cauldron Street. I fell in love with the laundry girl that was working next to me. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, as she was running wild. She says, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. But you wouldn't want me any other way. Round hair zigzagged across her face, a look of half surprise. Like a fox caught in the headlights, there was animal in her eyes. She says, young man, oh can't you see, I'm not the factory kind. If you don't get me out of here, I'll surely lose my mind. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, as she was running wild. She says, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. But you wouldn't want me any other way. We bust around in the market towns, picked fruit and in Kent. We tinkered pots and pans and lamps wherever that we went. I thought that we might settle down, get a few acres dug, the fire in the fireplace and the babies on the rug. But she says, oh man, you foolish man, that surely sounds like hell. You might be lord of half the world, you'll not own me as well. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, and she was running wild. She says as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay, but you wouldn't want me any other way.